We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves.
Mic check, testing. What is up, everybody? I'm Mr. Man. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to try and put together the information from Project Nexus, which is interlinking faster payment systems. And I'm going to show you how that happens in a real world setting, what the gateway hubs are, who the participants are, how Ripple and RippleNet falls in line with this. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to do my best to put this project together for you from the digital currency side of things right up to the real world application of it, because keep in mind this is software here. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to start off by showing you Project Nexus by the BIS.
Sending money from one person to another has never been easier. That's if you're sending money within the same country. If you're sending money overseas, it can feel like an eternity. But why? Money is just data. Why does it take longer to send money overseas than it does to send an email? Well, there are 3 reasons. First, one currency needs to be swapped for another. Second, compliance checks are needed to prevent illicit payments. And third, different payment systems speak different languages. These steps can result in costs, frictions, and delays. Payment innovators and organizations like SWIFT are developing better solutions and standards for data and messaging. But there's still more that we can do. So, here at the BIS Innovation Hub in Singapore, we're exploring other options. One possibility is to link the successful fast payment systems that many countries use today for domestic payments. In fact, Singapore and Thailand are already connecting their fast payment systems, making money transfers happen within seconds. The European Central Bank and the Swedish Riksbank are also exploring ways they can achieve instant payments between euros and kronas. It's a positive step forward, but linking countries one by one can quickly become a challenge. 2 countries need just 1 link, but 4 countries need 6 links, and 20 countries need 190 links. This gets complicated and expensive. That's why the BIS Innovation Hub is developing a blueprint for a fast, cross-border payments platform. We call it Nexus for short. Nexus does 2 things. First, it connects multiple fast payment systems in different countries, thereby allowing them to speak to each other through standardized data-rich payment messages. Second, it coordinates currency exchange between financial institutions. That means the existing domestic fast payment systems could start to provide equally fast cross-border payments, all without the sender's bank or the fast payment system having to touch another currency. Nexus is a blueprint to connect the multiple fast payment systems that exist today. We're working with the Monetary Authority of Singapore and other central banks to ensure that technology on the horizon will make it easier than ever for both businesses and individuals to send money across borders.
All right. So here we are at the BIS Innovation Hub, Project Nexus, enabling instant payment or instant cross-border payments. Pardon me, this will be a longer video, but buckle up. This will take you through everything and how you need to know how this will work. So this here was done with the Bank d'Italia, Bank Negara in Malaysia, so Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Paynet in Malaysia. So here's how the flow works. You have the sender, the far left, this young lady over here, this beautiful young lady with the red hair there, probably a liberal. But that's neither here nor there. Then you have your payment service provider, which is right here, which could be, I don't know, Payments Canada. Not even Payments Canada. Yeah, Payments Canada, because we're looking at the high level. So that's Payments Canada being the service provider. In the US, who would that be? The payment service provider. The Fed now. No, not the Fed now. I'm not sure who it is in the States, but in Canada, payment service provider. Then you have the source IPS. The source IPS, which would be the instant payments systems, which, for example, would be Pay Now, Prompt Now, or Now Prompt Now, whatever the hell it is. In Singapore and Malaysia. You have SEPI in India, SEPA in Europe, along those lines, Buna in Jordan. Then you have the gateway. The gateway offers the interoperability. That is the main, back down to the core in the banking system itself. That is the interoperability. That's the source gateway with the main API. And that's what we're looking at. Then you have the destination gateway. So where it's going. This is from my side of things here in Europe, here to the faster payment system. For instance, SEPA or Target 2 tips, if you will, to the source gateway at that point, which would be the company or the gateway, the hub, Project Nexus. That's what this source gateway is. Project Nexus on the Europe side of things, and then the Project Nexus here on the opposite side of things for the cross-border payment, and it works its way back. So that's what we are discussing. That's how that works. So Italy, the role of the Italian bank, okay? The main functions of the Bank of Italia are designed to ensure monetary and financial stability, indispensable conditions for lasting growth of the economy. The bank contributes to the decisions on the single monetary policy of the euro area and performs the tasks entrusted to it as a central bank, forming part of the Eurosystem. As a part of the Eurosystem. So the Eurosystem, the monetary authority of the Eurozone, the collective of the European Union member states, have adopted the euros as their sole official currency. The ECB, the European Central Bank, has, under Article 16 of its statute, the exclusive right to authorize the issuance of the euro banknotes. So only the ECB can do that. I don't know who's given them that, but they've been blessed with the rights to only be the ones to issue euro banknotes. Member states can issue euro coins, but the amount must be authorized by the ECB beforehand. The euro system consists of the ECB and the National Central Bank of the 20 member states that are part of the Eurozone. The national central banks apply the monetary policy of the ECB. So the ECB is the head of the Eurozone. It's the ECB. All right? No matter what other central banks there are out there, Bundesbank, Riksbank, whatever. The ECB is the head. The primary objective of the Euro system is price stability. Second objectives are financial stability and financial integration. The mission statement of the Eurosystem says that the ECB and the National Central Bank jointly contribute to achieving the objectives. In accordance with the treaty established by the European Committee, the EC, there's an EC treaty, and the statute of the European system of central banks of the European Central Bank, the primary objective of the Euro system is to maintain price stability without prejudice to this subjective. The Euro system supports the general economic policies in the community and acts in accordance with the principles of an open market economy. Let's see who these members are. In the Euro system, you have the Eurozone: Austria, Belgium, Croatia, Cyprus, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Portugal, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Spain. Here are their assets. They have gold and gold receivables. As of December 2023, look at how much they have there, the Eurozone. 649, what is that, tons? Doesn't say what it is. It manages the country's own foreign exchange reserves and a part of those of the ECB on the latter's behalf. It is responsible for producing the quantity of euro banknotes established by the Eurosystem, which we had gone over already, managing the currency in circulation and fighting against forgery. Fighting against forgery. So the carbon footprint of the target instant payment settlement system, a comparative analysis with Bitcoin and other infrastructure. So we're talking about forgery here, okay? Now they're talking about Bitcoin. The Bank of Italy today published the carbon footprint of the target instant payment settlement TIPS system. TIPS is their faster payments system. This is an image here put together by Chad Steingraber. Bless your heart, my man. Thanks for doing this. This visual here I've been utilizing so much for so many things. So here is the Eurozone. There is Target, the TIPS system. And what we're talking about today is down here. I just added this one. This is the BUAN faster payment system in Jordan. That's the one we are going to be breaking down today, not the Malaysian one. We're talking about TIPS, which has Target 2, and then BUAN. We are going to be hearing from these individuals who performed these actions and what they did in terms of the remittances or the use case, and how it actually worked. Reducing the environmental impact of human activities has become a strategic objective of governments, institutions, companies, and individuals. In this paper, we estimate the CO2 equivalent emissions of the target instant payment system, or TIPS, and compare it to that of Bitcoin and other infrastructures. The TIPS carbon footprints in 2019 was almost 40,000 times smaller than that of Bitcoin. The difference is only partially accounted for by the lower overall volume of TIP transactions, as the marginal increase in emissions per additional transaction is very small. The difference would therefore persist even if TIPS worked at full steam. The huge discrepancy in the carbon footprints of the TIPS and Bitcoin stems from the fact that the latter uses a larger amount of energy to generate trust and consensus among Bitcoin network participants, whereas in the case of TIPS, this trust is provided by the Eurosystem. The comparison is then extended using publicly available data to other infrastructures. The overperformance of TIPS, while less marked than in the case of Bitcoin, remains nonetheless considerable. The overperformance. Interesting. TIPS, targets instant payment settlement. So, Bank d'Italia delivered TIPS, a new service for the settlement of instant payment in central bank money, which was also compliant with the SCT INT scheme. We discussed this, the Euros with SEPA. SEPA's one leg out scheme where they're like, I can't put both my legs in. I can't jump in 2 legs in. I gotta put one out first. So they're like testing the water. Okay. Conceived as a multi-currency settlement platform, TIPS was developed with the aim, inter alia, of fostering the integration of retail payment services offered by the European financial community and of eliminating barriers due to the lack of interoperability between different settlements platforms. The TIPS project is part of the Vision 2000 program, which the Eurosystem has devised with the aim of providing new services to support financial markets, citizens, and businesses in Europe, and to foster the innovation of market infrastructures and harmonization of financial services related to securities and cash. The Vision 2020 program is part of the European Commission's Capital Markets Union project, aimed at achieving full integration of the European financial markets. Building TIPS required the fulfillment of a number of particularly challenging technical requirements. Virtually instant payment execution with processing times per payment not exceeding 5 seconds. 2 days ago, April 8th, became instant payment date in Europe. All right. Now I'm not sure of the implementation phase for that or time frame, but now they have to meet 10-second target. 10 seconds to have everything settled. Again, that was implemented. I'm sure there's a phase-in period. How long, I'm not sure, between 12 to 18 months. Usually, I didn't see an end date for that. So the use of instant payment services is growing across Europe, and it is reasonable to expect that this trend will only increase in the years to come. It is in the context that Banque d'Italia has already identified a series of actions that aim to prepare TIPS to become an essential component of the foreseeable spread of instant payment services in Europe. Wow, that's so cool, man. Okay. So, Banque d'Italia plays a central role in the development and operation of the TIPS system. Some key points. Banque d'Italia was chosen by the Eurosystem to develop and operate the TIPS platform, which was launched in 2018 to settle instant payments in central bank money across Europe. TIPS was designed as a multi-currency platform from the start, and Banque d'Italia was responsible for its development and operation. Banque d'Italia has participated in various experiments and proof of concepts to connect TIPS to other payment systems, such as linking it to the Jordanian BUAN system. That's the system right there. Target TIPS and BUAN, the Jordanian system, and the Swedish RIC system, instant payment services. As the national central bank, Banque d'Italia also provides support and liaison with the Italian financial community for TIPS, similar to its role for further Eurosystem market infrastructures like T2 and Target 2 securities. The Eurosystem has developed and manages TIPS on a full cost recovery, not-for-profit basis, with Banque d'Italia acting as the sole service provider. So here we are now with BUAN newsletter, man. I don't know, that's not how they speak out there, clearly. That's just me being stupid. So, message from the CEO. Dear community and friends, in my previous message to you, that's this guy here. That's how he sounds, I imagine. I elaborate on the differences that exist between the role of payment system and financial market infrastructure, such as BUAN, and the one of the banks in the payment landscape. The comparison aimed at showcasing how the relationship between BUAN and its participant is strategically driven by the mutual interest to facilitate cost-efficient, fast, and secure access to cross-border payments. A similar element of collaboration is to be noted when comparing payment systems to financial technology or fintech companies. In BUAN, the process of payments depends on large-scale automation and technology to secure organizations and smoothly functioning operational facilities that are essential to the payment system. Therefore, the aspect of technology is a key asset in BUAN's function and in any modern financial market infrastructure. Modern and efficient technology is at the heart of BUAN's system, and its services depend on it. Through its technology, BUAN facilitates the onboarding process of its participants by digitalizing the workflow and making the onboarding process smooth and quick. BUAN's technology is also essential to deliver our main function consisting in guaranteeing the transfer of funds and the execution of payments in a fast and secure way, and in adherence to the highest international standards in terms of compliance. That being said, the role of FMI, such as BUAN, is not limited to the operational and technical platforms. It essentially consists in providing a marketplace that gathers an ecosystem of financial institutions as participants and execute financial transactions between them based on a set of common rules and procedures. In the modern world, the technology comes as the main enabler to deliver such a function. The technology delivers the function. TIPS. Target 2 Information Guide from 2019. Where was I at? Here we go. Boom. So what is TIPS Instant Payment Settlement System? The TIPS service has been developed and is operated on behalf of the Eurosystem by the TIPS platform, providing NCBs, Deutsche Bank, Banque de France, and Banque d'Espagne. TIPS provides a harmonized and standardized pan-European, all of Europe, for settling payments instantly in central bank money with high capacity and with 24/7 365 availability. To this end, The TIPS service enables communication and provides authentication services and secure messages to and from the centralized settlement component. The TIPS DCA holders, dollar cost average, I don't know what that means. Okay, holders connect via the TIPS network service providers. Okay, so I want to get into this. Here they're talking about the proof of concept now between TIPS, Bank Italia, the fast payment provider, which is TIPS, going over to Jordan, or their payments provider, which is BUAN. So bank, payment provider, or gateway hub, Project Nexus, TIPS, BUAN, and then the bank at the end here. Let's listen to what they have to say.
TIPS and BUAN. I'm pleased to invite Mr. Giancarlo Esposito, Head of Payments, Cash Management and Open Banking at Banca Intesa Sanpaolo, and Mr. Faisal Al-Hijawi, Chief of Strategy of BUAN, to share more with us on this ambitious undertaking. I understand that Faisal will go first. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's a great pleasure to be here. If you don't mind just giving me sharing rights so I can share my presentation.
No worries. I think Camilla will give you sharing rights in a moment.
Should be okay now. Did you receive the message? Okay.
Thank you. Just confirming if you can see my screen.
Yes, can you go full screen? Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you very much for colleagues in Banca d'Italia and Monetary Authority of Singapore for hosting us today and for this great opportunity. This is to share with you some of the key findings and the overall experience we had linking or interlinking TIPS payment system with BUAN payment system with the great participation of Intesa Sanpaolo Bank and Jordan Ahli Bank. I believe colleagues already covered a lot about the G20 roadmap. This experiment has been along the same lines, particularly blocks 13 and 17 about interlinking payment systems in order to solve the four main frictions in cross-border payments: cost, speed, transparency, and access. Just like a little bit about BUAN. So BUAN is an Arab word for infrastructure. So it's the centralized infrastructure or payment infrastructure system for the Arab world, operated by the Arab Regional Payment Clearing and Settlement Organization, ARPCSO, which is owned by the Arab Monetary Fund. And the Arab Monetary Fund in turn is owned by the Arab states represented in their finance ministries and central banks. So this is an opportunity also to thank all the Arab states and the central banks for the continuous support for the BUAN initiative. So this experiment, basically, we joined hands with Banca d'Italia to create a proof of concept, whether interlinking between totally separate instant payment systems can take place, and what are the key considerations and challenges. Obviously, we kept in mind that this has to be, by nature, it's a cross-border. By nature, it's a cross-platform, but also we wanted it to be cross-currency to make sure that we can experiment the maximum number of aspects. Just as a quick reminder or refresher about the main characteristics of a typical instant payment system, obviously you would expect an IPS or IPN or a fast payment system, as terminologies vary from country to another, basically to deliver funds and within seconds, to be 24/7 by 365 days available. Obviously, they can be agnostic, low volume, high volume. In some particular markets, they are more towards low volume, like P2P, for example. End-to-end tracking is a key, and usually instant payment systems also are diverse in terms of the different use cases and sub-use cases. So you can do a credit transfer, you can request for a payment, you can send to an alias like a nickname or a mobile number. So these are the typical characteristics of an instant payment system. If we take tips and Buna, a typical flow will look like this. There's an originating bank and a receiving bank with the IPS infrastructure in the middle. So the first step would be to instruct the payment by the originating bank. The IPS infrastructure validates that payment. If all checks go successful, the payment gets forwarded to the receiving institution. The receiving institution confirms back, and usually end-to-end confirmation is a key for a success of an IPS system. If that confirmation is received successfully by the IPS infrastructure, it settles the payment and confirms that settlement back to the payment originator or the originating bank. Now, let's put this into a cross-border context, and this was the main objective of.
Now keep in mind, this was what they're calling IPS, Instant Payment System, or FPS, Fast Payment System. Buna and targets, those are the IPSs he's talking about.
Of this experiment, you will get the following characteristics. Obviously, we went with a remittance use case because if we look at the landscape today, remittances probably are the most visible and clear use case that is impacted by the 4 frictions of cross-border payments. And post comes obviously as number 1, as we know. It has the highest cost compared to the other types of payment. So we wanted to give that a priority in our experiment. Instant delivery, cross-currency. So we did the experiment from European region, from Italy to ABUAN region, Jordan, with the participation of 2 leading banks, Intesa Sanpaolo and Jordan Ahli Bank. Obviously, due to the nature of both systems, and also we wanted to make sure that the POC comply with the global trends. We made sure that ISO 20022 is the way to conduct the messaging between the systems. We conducted it in terms of connectivity over the SWIFT network, particularly the AGI infrastructure for both connectivity and security.
So just talking to AI here, Finastra's Fusion Total Messaging Solution. He said SWIFT AGI, which is the, what is AGI again? AGI is the Alliance Gateway, okay? SWIFT Alliance Gateway. So Finastra is a long-standing SWIFT partner, offering SWIFT connectivity products and services for over 30 years. Finastra's Fusion Total Messaging solution is certified by SWIFT and supports the SWIFT AGI Alliance Gateway. Fusion Total Messaging provides integration and data transformation tools to connect to various financial and payments back office systems, including support for SWIFT, FIN Plus, and ISO messaging formats. The solution includes features like 4i and 6i approval workflows, status monitoring, and message archiving to manage SWIFT transactions. ACI worldwide, Swift GPI solution. ACI Worldwide is the first certified vendor of SWIFT GPI solution and has been a SWIFT partner for over 20 years. ACI offers 2 key capabilities to help banks leverage the SWIFT GPI service. ACI Swift GPI data service to offer customers full visibility and data on GPI transactions. ACI Swift GPI Connect to enable full GPI functionality without re-engineering the existing payments engine. These solutions are available as part of ACI's Up real-time payment and ACI money transfer systems products. So in summary, both Finastra and ACI Worldwide provide integration solutions that allow banks to connect their internal systems with the SWIFT AGI network and leverage SWIFT's instant payments capabilities. Finastra's Fusion Total Messaging is a SWIFT comprehensive connectivity platform, while ACI offers specialized GPI integration tools. Here we have the Finastra and Ripple partnership here. Fact sheet, payments connectivity marketplace, manage cross-border payments easy easier with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging. Totally global banks and corporations manage millions of payments messages in message warehouses around the world. As a result, communication with counterparties and operations in multiple currencies, languages, time zones, and regulatory environments introduce risks. Manual intervention further burdens resources and can lead to human errors. Banks and corporations need a technology that can eliminate manual intervention and reduce risk, improve efficiency, and perhaps most importantly, save time and money. With Finastra, Ripple's partnership, regulated financial businesses and banks can connect to the RippleNet network via Fusion Total Messaging adapter using standard FIN messages, allowing them to control their file and operational efficiencies through global functionalities, advanced straight-through processing, web-based technology, and advanced drill-down and query capabilities. Seamless integration with payments and treasury systems reduce the risk and cost associated with onboarding. So, Project Nexus is talking about gateway hubs. This is your gateway hub that TIPS is using. TIPS is using Finastra for their software, their API connectivity for the interoperability to the other fast payment network there. So for RippleNet to be a reality, that network effect needs to happen. So for TIPS to utilize it, out in Jordan they're utilizing it. Why do I know that they're utilizing it? Let me show you. So Accenture has been a selected Payments Canada to help lead the country's payments modernization initiative, which includes the implementation of a faster payments capability. Similarly, the Arab Monetary Funds has launched the BUNA cross-border payment system to facilitate faster and more efficient cross-border payments within the Arab nation. BUNA, so we know BUNA is using Accenture. BUNA is a centralized model that enables commercial banks, central banks, and other financial institutions in the region and globally to send and receive payments in both regional and international currencies in real time. It has adopted the ISO 20022 messaging standard, which provides richer and higher quality data to support improved payment processes and analytics. The launch of BUNA, along with the GCC RTGS real-time gross settlement system and other regional incentives, demonstrates the growing focus on improving cross-border payments, speed, transparency, and inclusivity within the Middle East. Banks and the region need to prepare for these changes by assessing how to incorporate instant payments capabilities across their systems and processes. Accenture to develop UAE National Payments Platform. Accenture has been selected by the Central Bank of UAE to lead a consortium, so we're talking about BUNA out in the UAE there, which was selected by Accenture, or for Accenture was selected for them and their central banks as the gateway hub API connector through Project Nexus. In collaboration with SIA, now part of Nexi Group, and G42, Accenture will build and operate the National Instant Payments Platform over the next 5 years. The new platform lays the groundwork for transforming the financial services ecosystem in the UAE. It represents the beginning for the next generation of payment services in the region, enabling safe, innovative, and convenient electronic payments in the country. IPP is the first significant milestone of the national strategy, allowing real-time payments and funds transfer 24 hours a day. We look forward to collaborating with the consortium to build and operate this future-ready national infrastructure project to support the financial services ecosystem, said Michael Abbott, who leads Accenture's banking practice globally. This innovative project will help ease trade and transactions, enhance customer experience, and accelerate technological advancements for financial institutions, large businesses, and SMEs in the UAE and the regions. By providing innovative payment services to participants and their end users, the IPP will deliver the instant payments platform, right? BUNA is one of them we're talking about here. As we saw, will deliver the flexibility needed to respond to the rapidly changing payments market while complying with best practices and international standards, including ISO 2022. Ripple's partner Accenture writes paper with SWIFT on CBDCs. Ripple's partner Accenture, the technology and business consulting firm, has published a paper with SWIFT on the potential for central banks. So we already saw how SWIFT is working with Finastra and Accenture, or ACI Worldwide, sorry. Just to go over quickly, SWIFT and Accenture have collaborated on several initiatives related to central bank digital currencies and cross-border payments. In May 2021, SWIFT and Accenture published a joint paper that explored opportunities and challenges in CBDCs for international payments. The paper outlined practical requirements for the adoption of digital currencies at scale and discussed how SWIFT can support the financial community as new CBDC solutions are developed. That would be an interesting read. Very, very interesting read. So, Accenture is a Fortune Global 500 company alongside Ripple, BMW, Bosch, Blockchain Acceleration Foundation, Arcsum, Consensus, Crypto Valley, Constellation, Continental, CPC Chain, DLT Labs, Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, Ford, and others. Accenture is part of the Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative, MOBI. That's an initiative on the Stellar chain. So here we are at MOBI. MOBI is a global nonprofit Web3 consortium. We are creating standards for trusted self-sovereign data and identities, vehicles, people, businesses, things, verifiable credentials, and cross-industry operability. MOBI and our members are building the Web3 infrastructure. MOBI and our members are building the Web3 infrastructure for connected ecosystems and IoT commerce. Our goal is to make the digital economy more efficient, equitable, decentralized, and circular, while preserving data privacy for users and providers alike. So, jumping forward here, we have payment topics. I work at XML Dation, a fintech company, and I blog about financial messaging, architecture, and technologies that I work with during my daily job. I hope readers find them useful. Okay, so that's what this site is about here. This site, Dave Gary. Okay, and this individual works at XML Dation. What is XML Dation? About us, XML Dation. Financial messaging simplified. XML Dation is a world leader in financial messaging operations in 4 continents. Our testings is a service solutions are in cloud, designed for banks and payment system operators. Our self-service solutions ensure resilience and quality in payment systems through repeatable and automated test processes and streamlining onboarding to new payment schemes and rollout of services and formats faster and easier. Our modern technology stack is robust, secure, and scalable. XML Dation natively supports ISO 20022, SWIFT NT, and PSD2, Payment Service Device 2 in Europe, along with many other payments and API standards. Who we are. Here is their team. Okay, there's David Gary. We're on this site here, David Gary's site. This is a quick overview of their webpage. Financial messaging simplified. So when we go back to the other page there that you saw that had RippleNet on it, that's who these individuals are. They are global messaging standard individuals. That's who they are. Going back here. Ripple and ISO 20022. Ripple is a technology company that leverages decentralized blockchain technology in order to facilitate cheaper and faster cross-border payments. ISO 20022 is the common language and model for financial messages being exchanged across the world. This blog post discusses what Ripple is and its adoption of ISO. So Ripple RTG, real-time gross settlement, currency exchange, and remittance network that is available to financial institutions. It uses cryptocurrency to power cross-border transaction. Ripple was designed to be a replacement for the SWIFT network. It facilitates the transfer of a number of fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies between financial institutions for a small amount of XRP. This fee is small in comparison to the amount charged by banks for cross-border payments. What's XRP, you ask? XRP is a digital currency native to RippleNet, the Ripple platform. It uses decentralized blockchain known as XRPL. XRP uses the Ripple transaction protocol to process transactions. Distributed ledger technologies have the potential to reduce costs of transactions. They also speed up transaction processes because they remove the need for a central authority such as central banks or financial networks like SWIFT. So it acts as a gateway as well. It's the API. Yeah. RippleNet has a facility, ODL on-demand liquidity, which is used to buy XRP on the market when needed and selling it when received, effectively eliminating volatility by completing both transactions within seconds. That's what he's talking about in the diagram previous to this one here. So Ripple can now provide a RippleNet at a greater scale by conforming to the same standard that SWIFT and its members will use. SWIFT members will integrate more easily with RippleNet as they will adhere to the same messaging standards. The use of DLT within ISO will allow faster transactions processing and cross-border payments via a standardized API. So these are the guys who do this day in, day out. Talking about RippleNet will be the replacement of SWIFT. Not my words. Not my words. I'm just being a parrot right now and repeating what I was told, what I heard, right? I'm keeping my bias out. Now I can say that RippleNet will be the replacement for SWIFT because this individual here who works specifically with messaging this is what he does day in, day out. I believe him more than anybody else out there that doesn't know about this topic. Can't touch this. No, can't touch this, right? That's what that is. So where was it? Messaging right here. PAX 008 messages. Why is this important? Because the individual in the video that we're going to be listening to again will be talking about the PAX 8 messages and what they were doing in their POC, proof of concept, to receive the POC, or to receive the PAX messaging. And again, RippleNet does this. The PAX 8 message belongs to the payment, clearing, and settlement family of messages. The PAX messages are used within the bank-to-bank interface. The PAX 8 is sent by the debtor agent to the creditor agent directly or through other agents and or payments and clearing settlement systems. It is used to move funds from a debtor account to a creditor account. The actual movement of funds will only happen after the clearing and settlement process. Each PAX 8 message will have a settlement date, which is the date when the transfer will take place. That's how it looks. The debtor on the left-hand side here, the SEPA clearing, they use SEPA as the example, and then the debtor again. So again, in between here is the messaging, the ISO messaging, right? The PAX 8, the ISO messaging, RippleNet scheme there. Building blocks of PAX 8 messaging. Okay, so let's jump back to that video again. I want to give you guys a holistic view on what is taking place here. In
terms of the final outcome that we needed from this experiment, obviously is the actual experiment findings, which will be also followed and documented and shared in a form of an academic paper. Probably to shed little light also on the geographical side of BUNA. So BUNA is operating in 14 Arab markets. We picked Jordan for this experiment for different reasons. Number one, Jordan, one of the countries that has a number of banks actively participating in BUNA. Jordan Ahli Bank is a leading Jordan-based bank, especially in the retail space, and was among the very first who launched the service with BUNA. Jordan as a market itself, if we look at it macroeconomically, it's one of the key remittance markets, more than $5 billion remittance market comes between third and fourth at an Arab region level. And it has payments in both directions. So there are almost 1 million Jordanian expats living abroad, and also more than 1 million expats living in Jordan. So there is a pretty much 50-50 volume breakdown in terms of inward and outward cross-border payments. So all these elements together made perfect sense for that choice for the proof of concept. Now on the POC itself, if we look at the characteristics that explained by colleagues from Banca d'Italia earlier about interlinking, we see that this POC fits most, if not all, of those. So we are talking about 2 different regions, 2 different currencies, 2 different platforms, and also 2 commercial banks that are participating in 2 different systems without any existing contractual or technical relationship between them. And then comes in the interoperability layer, which is basically the work that TIPS and Buna did together. So the scope was to experiment a number of remittance payments that will originate in euro and will be fulfilled in Jordanian dinar. As Buna and TIPS, we built this middle layer that will look after the interoperability, translation of message format, settlement of funds in both systems. This is the harmonization part, basically. We try to find and build the harmonization that is needed for these 2 foreign payment systems to understand each other and interlink with each other. Of course, thanks to the expertise and the support of SWIFT, who played a key role in the success of this POC. A little bit more details about the flow. So basically, as you can see from this diagram, you have the TIPS side, the European side, which is Intesa Sanpaolo Bank as an originating institution connected to the TIPS instant payment system using the usual rails, using the usual standard, using the usual rules. That part is business as usual, was not touched in this experiment, and that's a key in order to guarantee realistic outcome from this POC. Similarly, if you look at the other side, the Buna side, the Arab region side, that is Jordan Ahli Bank, connected to Buna system, using as well the same rails, the usual rails, the business as usual arrangement that is between Buna and its participants, with absolute no existing relationship between both banks. In the middle, the interoperability heavy lifting was basically conducted by Buna and TIPS, where as I mentioned, we created this harmonization, and there are different options here that have been discussed. Obviously, the one we landed on is what we call it the cross-participation model, where we simulated an entity that basically it's a foreign exchange PSP that is participant in both systems, that will be responsible to do the message translation, as each system, while they are both on ISO 20022, but they are applying different flavors or dialects of the protocol, to handle the FX conversion from euro to Jordanian dinar, and as well, of course, by sheer nature of being an entity in the middle, will also be responsible for the actual settlement of the funds. 4 payments have been initiated successfully by Intesa Sanpaolo using the PAX8 format. Went through the TIPS Buna interoperability layer all the way to the end to Jordan Ahli Bank, confirmed back successfully with the PAX 002 response as well. and the average was less than 20 seconds. The average was around 14.75 seconds, which is, we believe, is an impressive outcome. Ideally, we wanted, of course, to have a real entity in the middle doing this cross participation harmonization. But because the experiment itself was very tight in terms of timeline, which basically we have done this work in few weeks, we had to simulate that role. But all the findings and the information that are documented in the academic article will pave a great ground for any entities in the future. And in fact, there are several entities who heard about this experiment and expressed high interest to play such a role. Moving to the key conclusions of this experiment, technically, this put the G20 building blocks 13 and 17 in action, and has proven that interlinking cross-currency, cross-border, cross-platform instant payments is possible. And for the record, this was also conducted in the testing environment. So probably if you look at live production environments, there could be even better results to be taking place. So that technical fact proves that there is a great potential for such opportunities and interlinking for providing better and lower cost services. The harmonization took place through the cross participation model with, as I mentioned, with an entity in the middle, and this has lots of advantages where basically the heavy lifting is performed by that layer. But this doesn't mean that it is the only model. There could be also other models where both instant payment systems natively interact with each other.
So we're in the same video, and you heard the gentleman say there's an intermediary in the middle there, right? Within that, the two nexuses there, something's in between that swaps those. So we're still in the same video. They're still within Bank d'Italia and Jordanian Bank, which is in the UAE and the Eurosystem. Tips and bonus. Let's hear what some of the options are that they talk about here.
A first reflection is on the possibility of using a different FX approach. I already mentioned that cross-currency volatilities and liquidity is a pain point for FX conversions because of high volatility imposes high liquidity costs. Accordingly, we could think to use currency baskets because averaging through different exchange rates smooths volatility. Moreover, a basket could be engineered on purposes, depending, for example, on the geographical scope of the platform. A potential candidate for this role could be the special drawing rights, the international eSDR, the international reserve assets created by the IMF in 1969 and based on a basket of 5 major currencies. However, concrete use of the eSDR as a global means of payments would require to overcome some intrinsic limitation, legal limitation because, as clearly stated by the IMF, the SDR is neither a currency nor a claim on the IMF.
So it's not a currency in accordance with the IMF, but can it be a currency still too? We know it's not a security already. If you follow my drift. My man Smoke put this out there. This is the SIA chain we saw in the diagram previous to what we're listening to right now about the SDR, talking about SIA, and here they are with the Swift and Ripple connectivity here. Right? This is all legit. All legit what he's putting out there. You may not think he knows what he's talking about. This man is smart. Very, very smart. So here we have Smoke posted XRP as an eSDR. So we're talking about the SDR now. When this composition arrangement here in Project Nexus, the fast payments interconnectivity here, we're talking about tips. We're talking about, what's it called again? Bunas. There we go. backed by the deposits of central banks, the major currencies of the world, special drawings right to countries over the public ledger. There we have it, folks. Is that what we're looking at? Are we looking at XRP as the SDR or the eSDR, or as a possibility of an eSDR? Are there other eSDRs here? I put the puzzle pieces together for you guys, folks. Smoke puts out some fire documents there. I was able to capitalize on what I put out, my education, my knowledge, what Smoke put out there, and hopefully gave you guys a culmination of everything coming together. I'm not done this video. I got way more to show you still. So this gentleman here, Christian Geimer, is talking about the only solution is the eSDR for global liquidity. Right? These aren't my words. Again, none of them my words. I've shown you documents, I've shown you articles, I've shown you videos, I've shown you articles and presentations within videos. I'm putting the pieces together for you guys, okay? So again, none of this is my speculation. I'm just putting the pieces together with how to show you the overarching picture, the forest from the single trees that exist within it to create the forest. All right, listen to what this gentleman has to say. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Collaterals by the shadow banks would be basically under control. So we can have a solution. We have this solution, and CBDC are presently the way to jump due to this big technology, which would allow to fabricate without any cost a new SDR, an eSDR, no cost to bundle, to compose the basket, contrary to the present system, where making a private SDR is costly because the market is underdeveloped. But if we use the DLT tokenization, it's instantaneous, costless, and this could be the basis for making central bankers to jump and to decide to authorize IMF to issue eSDR, and so we'll have a multilateral lender of last resort with the possibility to manage the basis of the global liquidity in a counter-cyclical way. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for being long. You will have the detail.
So just to give you guys an insight into my world and the type of conversation I have, high-level conversation here. This is myself and Smoke chatting. This is a behind the scenes here. All right, I sent Smoke the CBDC sandbox testing, CBDC testing for R3, and then Smoke came and replied with, and that's how we got to this right here. That's the thing I showed you earlier that Smoke had spoken about. And there it is, the R3 marketplace. So we have a good concept of what's going on, Smoke and I just wanted you guys to know this, that him and I have a good concept of what's taking place behind the scenes here. My man Smoke put this out by PCCW, and he's talking about here the node that the bank would hold, or HKT in this particular document, right down here, bottom left, HKT. He's talking about the API. He's talking over here about the bank transfer. This is the remittance of it now, okay? The bank transfer, the eSDR, which is from the IMF, then the cryptocurrency, which would be XRP at that point. They are utilizing it here for clearing, a clearing function in this particular example. It may be possible for a blockchain settlement solution to incorporate a payment based upon some e-currency, perhaps an eSDR, since SDR is already familiar with operators today. Operators would need to obtain the chosen e-currency and then could have payment recorded on the blockchain. In this scenario, operators may only need to exchange to and from an e-currency and may not require a bank for payments. With this last component, a truly automated settlement that simply needs approval. So in this situation, let's discuss what we do know. We do know that Ripple had launched a USD pegged stablecoin on XRPL and Ethereum. Ethereum is the technical standard, so most, if not all, altcoins have an Ethereum based, and not Ethereum, but an ERC20 base as the technical standard. So Ripple plans to launch a stablecoin pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. The US dollar will be the Ripple stablecoin, sorry, will be the intermediary that acts as a currency from a country within two places there. So that would be sent between the two faster payment systems there, and XRP as the intermediary at that point. So my question is, which country will be utilizing this Ripple USD dollar denominated stablecoin with XRP acting as that intermediary between the two faster payment systems that we have just gone over, right? Because this stablecoin here has backing behind it too. It has USD. The stablecoin will be backed by US dollar deposits and short-term government treasuries, with all reserves assets audited by a third-party auditing firm alongside monthly attestation. We're at the start of a paradigm shift, said Marcus Infringer, Senior Vice President at RippleX, a business unit within Ripple. So it appears we've come to the end of the video here. It's been about an hour now. I think you guys should have a decent understanding of what is taking place there. The fact that in between this, right, this system here, there is Accenture. I could put Accenture right here. Actually, not Accenture. I could put Accenture. I could put Finastra. I could put ACI Worldwide down here. We know they're working with Accenture. In the middle of all that, there's an XRP. Nice TCP/IP, somewhat of a protocol. TCP, yeah, XRP protocol, and acting as an eSDR potentially. If I'm interpreting this correctly, this is acting as an eSDR between these countries here. And this would be a bilateral agreement, at least they had for running this POC. But in terms of that, we see with Project Nexus, there's a hub that would be in between here. Project Nexus, and then Project Nexus connects everything at that point. The banks don't have to. They connect to their one hub within Project Nexus hub, acting as the gateway, the intermediary with the eSDR in the middle of that. I hope you guys take this, treasure it, value it, utilize this, capitalize on this, see what's going on, learn about the infrastructure. As always, I love y'all, and I will see you on the next one.
We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.